Thank you. Ms. Wagner, please call the roll.
Mrs. Bates?
Present.
Ms. Bolton?
Present.
Mrs. Hoffman? Ms. Jones?
Here.
Mr. Manera?
Here.
Mr. Nelms?
I'm here.
President Copeland Dansby?
Present. Before we get started, I would like to acknowledge an elected official in the room. Senator Cecil Thomas is with us tonight. We're happy to welcome you. Thank you. I need a motion to approve the minutes from the following meetings. Special meeting, April 24th, 2017. Special meeting, April 24th, 2017. Regular board meeting, April 24th, 2017. And special meeting, April 25th, 2017.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The minutes are approved as presented. Ms. Bolton, as chair of the Student Achievement Committee, please present the May 1st, 2017 Student Achievement Committee meeting report.
I submit them as written, and in the interest of time, really encourage board members and audience to review those. We did some great, wonderful presentations, especially from Assistant Superintendent Broadnax and Children's Hospital. But in the interest of the families that are here, submit as written, and appreciate the work that the committee and the administration is doing.
Thank you so much. Do board members have any questions or comments? Okay. Do we have to approve those?
Yep.
Yeah, so can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The minutes are approved, or the committee report is approved as written.
Thank you.
So tonight is a special presentation. We're going to hear from the Ohio State Young Scholars, and I believe with us, Superintendent, is Rochelle Woods, who's the director of the Young Scholars Program in the Office of Diversity and Inclusion.
Indeed, and she has brought lots of our young scholars with her. So at this time, I'm going to ask Dr. Woods to come down and bring the students down so we can all see them and meet them.
Thank you. Wow.
Good evening.
Good evening.
President Copeland Dansby, Superintendent Ronan, thank you for having us back again. I just want to tell a little bit about the Young Scholars Program and what it is. So the Young Scholars Program has been partnering with the Cincinnati Public School District for over 20 years. And we work with 9 school districts, urban school districts in the state of Ohio, to really work with first-generation students with financial need from our urban districts to make sure that they're prepared for college, and then that we of course want them to go to the Ohio State University, and most of them do, but we want them to go to college and graduate from college. So we have 9 of our, is that 9 of you all? 9 of our young scholars are with us today. We actually have 12 from Cincinnati Public Schools, 3 of them are not here. But our program really works with them from middle school all the way through the end of college. And so we coach them, we make sure that they're taking the right classes, we make sure they understand everything they need to know to prepare to go to college. And we have some really exceptional students that I will introduce. So the Young Scholars Program, in this group of students, these 9 students will be receiving over $550,000 worth of scholarships over 4 years to The Ohio State University. In the past 10 years, we've had over 80 young scholars from Cincinnati Public Schools attend The Ohio State University with our scholarship, and they've been awarded over $4 million of scholarships. We also recently admitted 16 new scholars in grades 9 through 11 that we will be working with starting this month. They were just admitted last month. And I'd like to especially thank Superintendent Ronan for supporting us, and also President Copeland Dansby, who's participated in our president's tour on affordability last summer, Superintendent Ronan for just supporting us all of these years, and also Dr. Lofton and Ms. Tanya Ficklin for just partnering with us, our program, to assist with our recruitment and just ensuring that our program operates successfully. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce the students in alphabetical order. We have Shiloh Brown, who is graduating from Taft High School. Shiloh will be majoring in business. We have Micaiah Brown Davis. She is graduating from the School of Creative and Performing Arts, and she plans to major in journalism.
All right.
Kariah Cox. She is graduating from Clark Montessori High School, and she plans to major in social work.
All right.
Ramaya Grissom. Ramaya is graduating from DePaul Cristo Rey, which is a non-CPS school, but she started off in CPS. All of our students have to be in CPS to enter into the program. And so she is still a product of your district. And she has not chosen a major, but she will be in university exploration. Marcus Jackson. Marcus is graduating from Hughes STEM High School, and he plans to major in business. Anaya Rogers. Anaya is graduating from Walnut Hills High School, and she plans to major in neuroscience and biomedical sciences. Hadiza is the valedictorian of Taft High School. And she plans to major in neuroscience. Javelle Tolbert. He is the valedictorian at Aiken High School. And he plans to major in athletic training. And last but not least, Dariah Williams. She is the valedictorian at Hughes STEM High School. And she plans to major in business, focusing on marketing or finance. And I do want to just acknowledge the 3 students who are not here. None of them are attending Ohio State, but they're products of our program. Abele Abdul, who's graduating from Withrow University High School. He will be attending University of Cincinnati. Anaya Pride, her high school isn't on here, but she is Withrow High School, and she will be attending Cleveland State University, where she'll be playing basketball. And also Devon Pitts. And Devon was admitted to 6 Ivy League institutions, so I think she's between Harvard and Columbia. So those are the students that could not be with us here today. I also just want to acknowledge the parents and family members of our scholars. Can you please stand? These parents have really the parents and family have done a lot of hard work. We have a lot of requirements. They have to be on campus every summer. They have weekly meetings. And so the parents are the ones that are getting them there, motivating them, and getting them on track, making sure they're still on track. So thank you to our parents and families. So that is the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for having us.
Good, thank you. Stay where you are. Thank you so much. I want to invite board members for comments or questions. Mr. Nelms.
Well, let me say, it's typically true that young ladies in their state of advancement, are a lot more ahead of our young men. So I'm proud to see you young men as a part of this collective group. And then I would just continue to say to you, go take care of your business, come back and serve, and work on the leadership that's gonna require you to be effective. And if you remember that, you'll be successful. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you again for your awesome presentation, and I echo Board Member Naum's sentiment in that the world is yours, the sky is the limit. We'll look forward to hearing from you again this time next year.
Thank you.
Thank
and
you.
Where's Miss Lawson, the program coordinator for Cincinnati? Where Miss Lawson? I'm sorry, I didn't want to forget about Miss Lawson. Miss Lawson works with them day to day, so.
Thank you again. In keeping with our theme of celebrating our young people, I understand that we're going to talk about My Tomorrow Day. Ms. Rolanda Smith, our Family and Community Engagement Coordinator, is going to come down. And Superintendent, do you have an intro here?
No, except to say she has a big surprise.
Oh, yay.
So I can't disclose it, so I'm going to let Rolanda come down and share with you all the exciting things that are going to happen.
I'm nervous.
Good evening, board members,
Oh.
Superintendent Ronan, and Treasurer Wagner. Happy My Tomorrow Day. Woo-woo! This is the second year we've celebrated our student and district outcomes with the My Tomorrow initiative. This year, we're proud to share that 93% of our graduating seniors have either enrolled in a higher education institution or are employed in a career field or are enlisted in the military. And I think that deserves some applause. Amazing things happen when students, families, teachers, administrators, and community partners come together to stand. Let's take a look.
My Tomorrow, which launched in the 2014-2015 school year, aims to ensure that every student is prepared for the future that is racing straight towards each and every one of us. This initiative continues to evolve throughout Cincinnati Public Schools with the vision that all 7th graders will graduate prepared to actively pursue their chosen career paths. My Tomorrow would not be possible without the progress already accomplished by our teachers, administrators, and staff, with plenty of parent and student support. So let's take a moment to celebrate this past year's hard work.
For my students. It is preparing them for not only high school, college, but most importantly, it's preparing them for life. The world that we live in right now is driven by technology, so they are learning these skills and these tools that they need in order to be successful.
CPS launched into 21st century learning through My Tomorrow. Students have taken responsibility of their learning through My Tomorrow. Students explore who they are and who they want to become through My Tomorrow.
Schoology is the ingredient that was missing from Power School. It's giving you more content. It's giving you the meat and potatoes that it was missing from Power School. You were just getting just a snapshot of what was going on in the classroom. Schoology is giving me everything else, the missing pieces.
My Tomorrow is an opportunity for my students to understand the connection between their daily choices and their future. Not just high school, but also college and beyond that, their career, but also who they want to be and the type of people that they want to be in their communities and in the world.
We're confident that My Tomorrow will continue to be successful, and as a result, our students and community will be better because of it. Please join me as I stand for My Tomorrow, today and every day moving forward.
I stand for My Tomorrow.
High School, and I stand for My Tomorrow.
My name is Angela Crawford. I'm a 9th grader at the School for Creative and Performing Arts, and I stand for My Tomorrow.
My name is Diana Rosewood. I'm the parent of a 7th and 9th grader at Schroeder High School, and I stand for My Tomorrow.
My name is Whitney Simmons. I'm principal of Parker Woods Montessori, and I stand for My Tomorrow.
My name is Julie Sellers, and I'm the president of the Cincinnati Federation of Teachers, and I stand for My Tomorrow.
My name is Sebastian State. I'm the president of the Faith and Community Alliance of this region, and I stand for My Tomorrow.
We stand. We stand. We stand. As you know, My Tomorrow prepares our young people for not only what they currently can envision, but also for jobs and opportunities that do not yet exist. So we're going to have a quick demo from our TAF IT Drone Club. If I could draw your attention over to this part of the ILC, our young talented students from the TAF IT Drone Club will give us a small demonstration of some technology that they have been working with. They're learning to build and ultimately can receive some certifications related to drones.
Okay, so some of these are the commercial uses for drones. Earthquake warning drones, earthquake warning networks, hurricane monitoring swarms, tornado warning systems, hail preventing sound cannons, avalanche preventer sound cannons, depleting flood alerts systems, tsunami forecasting systems, forest fire preventers. Here are some of some emergency services. As you can see, this is a drone at okay. So as you can see, this is a drone, and it has the five. Oh wait, whoa, where's it going? Where'd you go? Sorry. It's right here. Okay. This is a drone by the Channel 5 News, and they recorded a crash scene, but I don't really know where it's at though. Okay, so here are some of the drones. a missing child drone, which it has the capability of hunting dogs. So you know how bloodhounds can have strong sense of smell. Thermal sensor drones, infrared sensor drones, insect killing drones, endangered species drones, eye on the problem drones, and missing pet drones. Okay. Okay. But there are other types of drones that can actually help deliver packages and other things. And these things can actually monitor like like construction site, as you can see this guy right. I keep on forgetting about that. Wait, just keep okay. So as you can see, this guy right here has a hard hat, and he has a drone that he can monitor, like if there's any wires that's damaged or any other type of construction site that needs to be fixed or anything like that. Article. Yeah, just keep on going. Okay, so this is somewhere in China where like a piece of trash got stuck in a power line. Instead of using a crew of men to go and take it down, they used a drone to burn it down so it doesn't, for the safety of the men, so they can get electrocuted, some sort.
Okay, so my name is Gregory Haskins. I do go to TAF. I am a 7th grader, and I'm one of the drone pilots.
My name's Charles Loper. I go to Taft High School. I'm a freshman, 9th grade, and I'm like one of the pilots, but I'm not the best.
My name is Mikey Springs. I'm an 8th grader at Taft High School, and then nice to meet you all.
I'm Don Trader Ward, and I am the leader of the Taft Drone Club in Taft Tech Nation, and I am 10th grade. And now we're just going to show off some of our flying skills. This way.
Way to go, young people from TAF. We are so very proud of you. Let's give them another round of applause.
How y'all doing today?
Hi.
My name is Asa Maidale, and I'm a 5th grader at Rockdale Academy. Now it's your turn to stand for your tomorrow.
So we're going to ask each of you to stand at this time with your snapshot for my tomorrow. Deb's going to get your picture. If you don't mind, that would be great.
Thanks, Don. Appreciate it.
Just a few thank yous before I go. I'd like to express a special thank you to Kenesha DePriest and Precious Fox. They're Oiler students who helped serve on the planning committee for My Tomorrow Day. They actually are at a volleyball tournament tonight. I also would like to thank my friends here from Rockdale, Lorena Pratt and Asa Medell. Also, a special thank you to the My Tomorrow Techs who collected many of the photographs that you saw across the district. And a special thank you to the Taft IT Drone Club under the leadership of Matthew Ernst, who's a My Tomorrow Tech. And I couldn't have done today without Deborah Crawford, student blended learning coordinator. Thank you, Debbie. I also would like to thank Josh Harden, the athletics manager, and of course, Public Affairs for all of their support. Also, Principals Wallace, Brooks, and Wright, and our My Tomorrow project team. And last but definitely not least, all of our CPS family that came out tonight to support My Tomorrow Day. Can you all please stand? Stand, we stand, we stand. Thank you.
Well, that's what I mean by engagement. That is so awesome. Thank you. Do board members have any questions or comments? Yes.
I'm just curious to know the young men who demonstrated here, how far, what's the distance that those drones will go just in this environment?
They probably would go like as far, yeah, they probably go, yeah, they can go around this whole room.
Okay, yeah, all right, thanks.
Sure.
I'm going to ask the young men a question as well. Tell me some of the things that you learned in trying to figure out how to pilot a drone. I mean, that's got to be a completely new skill, so I'm wondering, what were some of the things you learned?
Well, first of all, we need the approval of the FAA to use it for commercial uses. So if I wanted to shoot a commercial, I would need a pilot's license and the approval of the FAA. Now, I do video production, and if I just wanted to use it for fun, like make it a fun little video, I could do that. But if I wanted for like advertisement, I would need approval for that from the FAA.
Well, thank you again so much for the awesome presentation, and thank you to our larger partnering community standing with us for My Tomorrow. Does anyone have any kudos?
I do have one. I think it's appropriate. I'd like to just give a shout out and kudos to our two superintendent finalists, Laura Mitchell and Andre Spencer. On behalf of the district, the families and the kids that we serve, thank you for wanting to serve and work with us and work in this district. May God bless you and may He keep you and may His face continue to shine on you. So kudos to you too.
Thank you. Mr. Manera.
I just wanted to also thank Mr. Tony Sims, who's an Ohio Commissioner, for being here and all the support that he does for CPS. Thank you.
Thank you. We are now at the item, I'm sorry, Ms. Bates, please present the retirements. I apologize.
Yes, we have a few people to honor tonight who are retiring. From our certificated personnel, we have Jean Builderman, David T. Case Jr., Vera D. Davidson, Tally A. Flanagan, Kathy L. Kesters, Deborah N. Mers, Wanda K. Neville, and from our civil service personnel, Ramona Buckaloo and Jahenzi Jen. So we thank you for your service and wish you well as you continue in your retirement, and thank you for your service.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Bates. We are now at the item on our agenda for hearing the public. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak, and Mrs. Wagner at the end of the table will be our timekeeper. When the buzzer goes off, your 3 minutes have expired. Please refrain from discussing any personnel issues. When your name is called, please come to the lower podium to speak. Our first speaker is Marcy Cook, followed by John Cook.
Good evening.
Good evening.
To the board president and all of those who are assembled, my name is Marcy Gardette Cook. The matter at hand that I bring just information to you, my son is 16 and attends a CPS school. I'm not here to bash anyone, but to express a sincere concern for him and others that are being bullied because of their uniqueness, their disability, or their sexual orientation. John is a Montessori child. He attended Sands for many years and is now a Montessori high schooler. Over the course of the last 3 years, John has struggled. Believe it or not, he was 100 pounds more about a year and a half ago, but he joined the cheerleading team at one of those games with a non-CPS school. They went through and the basketball team called him faggot at the end of the line. I was still at work, it was 11 o'clock and got a phone call. The verbal bullying that goes on and that he's had to take, I feel has definitely taken its toll with his grades. And from being a mother and always having a house full of boys, because I'm the mother of 5 boys, there are a lot of boys. There's a lot of girls standing out there too. That I see it and I feel helpless. And with that helpless feeling today, and I have taken the appropriate protocols and made the appropriate calls, but felt that tonight it was a time to leave work early, tell the boss I had to go, and it was major mommy time. I am here just not on behalf of John, but on several different kids who, again, I say suffer with disabilities, their uniquenesses, their sexual orientation, that go to our schools in the CPS district that are now being bullied. One of the things that you hate to hear from anyone, especially an administrator or a teacher, would be, you need to stop that. If you would just, you need to stop. It's kind of like telling a young lady who was raped, it was your fault. We have to take a stand, and I think that it's time that someone speak out for these children, these high schoolers, these middle schoolers who are suffering in silence. My son 3 years ago tried to commit suicide at school due to the severity of the teasing, of the bullying. Through his retaliation, I cannot condone some of the things that I've heard him say, but if that's the only fight you have, that's the only fight you have. My hope this evening is that the school board hears my cry as a parent, because the phone call that I don't want to get.
Please finish. Please finish.
The phone call that I don't want to get is the phone call that I got 3 years ago. Ms. Cook, we're at Clark. John took something. We've called the ambulance. No parent wants to pull into a driveway and see an ambulance, a fire truck, and 3 police cars knowing that they're there for your child. I can't be with him, but if I can stand here and save someone else, that's why I'm here. That's what I hope to do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is John Cook. As my mother said, I am a suicide victim. Gladly, I was one of the kids who was lucky enough to get a second chance. All my life I've been bullied. And just now, with me being a junior in high school, 16, about to be 17, I've found ways to cope. And, you know, I go throughout my everyday life saying it's okay, you know, just forget about it, brush off. it's not okay to be bullied. It's not okay to go through school and to just feel unsafe, especially being friends with most of these children for many years and to fall out, you know, to just really hard, you know. I'm sorry, I wish I was more prepared, but,
You're fine.
you know, I'm coming up in my last years of high school and then on to college, and I know I'm gonna get way more, you know, more of this. But I just wanted to come and speak as a student, as a child, I just want to be heard. And I'm speaking for kids who aren't heard. Being a student and being told that you just need to forget about it, and you just need to brush it off, you just need to go home and you just need to forget about it and come back the next day and do your work. It's like being at school and being in a box, nailed shut, trying to break out, and you can't move because it's these lines that you have to abide by as a student. Respect your elders. It's very hard, and you know, I'm trying to cope, and I just want to speak for all the bully victims that it is going to be okay, but it's okay to not say it's okay, and that's all I have to say.
Yes. Thank you both so much for coming to speak with us tonight. It looks like Dr. Lofton is going to meet you there in the back to have a conversation with you.
Thank you.
John, thank you for your courage.
Thank you.
Mrs. Bates, would you please present the resolution for board consideration?
Yes, thank you. Yes, here. Yes, I have a resolution for fiscal year 2016-2017 amended appropriations. I present this resolution as printed for adoption.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion or comments?
Ms. Wagner, can I ask you to give a summary of the resolution?
Absolutely. So by board policy, the district allows, the board allows, gives an allowance to spend money through an appropriation resolution by fund. So as things happen throughout the year and there's a need to spend money, or we get a grant and we want to be able to spend the money in the grant, the board has to approve an appropriation in order to do that. And so we are trying to do quarterly revisions to our appropriations so that we stay in compliance with approval before we start spending money. So this represents the third quarter.
Any other discussion or comments? Ms. Wagner, please call the roll.
Mrs. Bates.
Aye.
Ms. Bolton.
Aye.
Mrs. Hoffman. Ms. Jones.
Aye.
Mr. Manero.
Aye.
Mr. Nelms.
Aye.
President Copeland Dansby.
Yes. Superintendent Ronan, do you have a report?
Yes, I do. I would like to highlight some recent recognition by two of our great principals this evening. Last Wednesday, Belinda Tubb Wallace, principal of Rockdale Academy, was selected for the coveted Lawrence C. Hawkins Educator of the Year Award that Western and Southern has been sponsoring for 11 years. Board Member Jones was there, as was I. And anyone who knows Belinda, is seen smiling there, knows that she is totally student-oriented, student-centered, and she inspires her staff to do the same. And you know, when you walk into Rockdale, you're greeted by students at the door, and they always have a smile, always so helpful. And in fact, you saw two Rockdale students earlier with Rolanda Smith talking about My Tomorrow Day. So she has increased participation in the whole Avondale community, and she works long hours to make sure that happens. So there is Belinda with her her cash award, and also her what was it? Well, it's not a trophy. Yeah, plaque. Thank you. Her great plaque. And She won from, well, there were 20 of our teachers who were nominated by their peers, which really, really, really makes it special. And the 20 finalists are invited to the event, to the reception, and then it's almost like being at the Oscars. You know, they open the envelope and read the name, and you do get a $10,000 cash award. So it's absolutely wonderful. And thank you to Western and Southern for really making our educators feel special. You know, throughout the country, public education and teachers are under attack, but not here in Cincinnati, Ohio, when you've got Western and Southern honoring educators every year, and have done so for many, many years. And I also have wonderful things to say about another principal, Angela Cook Frazier. She was recognized by the Ohio Alliance of Black School Educators. She was honored for her service for modeling leadership, mentoring and training aspiring principals, both through the University of Cincinnati Leadership Academy, and she's also a mentor for our Bright program of new leaders. She is also a proud graduate of Withrow High School, and actually was a student of mine a number of years ago, I will say. Let's just leave it at that. So congratulations to these two great principals. And that concludes my report.
Thank you so much. Do I have a motion to approve the revised recommendations of the superintendent?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I will have to, I can't let the moment go by. I have to give a big kudos to our Principal Wallace for her work. I know her work very personally, and I do know that she is very community-oriented and is there for her students 24/7. And so thank you for your... All right.
And I have to add, this was the first time I have seen Belinda speechless. She
Speechless.
did not know what to say when she got
I heard
the
about
award.
it, and I wasn't even there, and I heard about it, so congratulations again. I don't think Principal Cook Frazier is in the building, but is she not here?
No, she's
But
not
another
here.
person that I know personally, who I can personally attest to her work, and big congratulations to her for her award. Ms. Wagner, please call the roll.
Ms. Bates.
Aye.
Ms. Bolton.
Aye.
Mrs. Hoffman.
Aye.
Ms. Jones.
Aye.
Mr. Manera.
Aye.
Mr. Nelms.
Aye.
President Copeland Dansby.
Yes. Report of the treasurer. Do I have a motion to approve it?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I have a couple
Yes.
of questions on page, 2. Just a clarification on facilities for, I think it's AWL, yes, Health Center. I know that there's been private monies also raised. What's the partnership regarding the expansion of this service and center?
It's Board of Health, it's the city, the Board of Health, and Darlene Kingman's group. That's the bulk of it.
And then this is our contribution to it? No, it's their money.
It's 100% their money.
Okay, but so it's just in
It goes into
Fund 19. Okay, that's what I needed.
funnel through Fund 19.
I was concerned, I'm not concerned, I think it's incredible that this is happening, it's fabulous and whatever, but I didn't think we were contributing, and apparently we're not, so that's good. I mean, whatever. Just another question on page 5. Angela Campbell Harris is the manager for the Law and Public Safety. Superintendent, is that the career piece for EMTs, or as West High moves towards?
I do not know. I'll have to get back with you.
That'd be
And
great.
Dr. Lofton just left the room, so.
I'm assuming that's what it is, especially with the departure of the principal who had been taking the
You know,
leadership on that.
Angela is the resource coordinator at Western Hills, but I don't know what this particular
It's
$5,000
probably-
is for.
Great, thank you, that's all I have.
Any other discussion? I don't want to belabor the issue. On page 3, as we talk about transportation contracts, am I right to assume that these are contracts for the upcoming year? Ms. Wagner?
They're for the current year.
For the current year. So is there an extra amount? I mean, there's extra amounts over the original contract?
Some of it's for summer school.
Summer school,
But
okay.
some of them are to finish out the year.
I got it. Okay. Summer school, that's great. Okay. Well, I always get concerned when I see extra amounts for transportation, given, I'm going to just be honest, the concerns and issues that we've had, so. Okay. Call the roll.
Mrs. Bates?
Aye.
Ms. Bolton?
Aye.
Mrs. Hoffman?
Aye.
Ms. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Luna? Aye. Mr. Nelms?
Yes.
President Copeland-Dansby?
Yes. So moving to the next part of our agenda related to inquiries and updates. I'm not sure if other board members have any, but I do want to give an update related to our superintendent search. And so I appreciate the community for attending our reception or meet and greet opportunity with our 2 finalists today. I'm very impressed with our community for coming out to give a special opportunity to meet 2 very, very qualified candidates. Our candidates are in the room, so I also want to thank you all for being our final candidates. Just so that the community is clear, tomorrow morning we will have time to spend with both of our candidates through their final round of interview, if you will. We also, as a board, will convene afterwards, and it is our sole intention to reach consensus on a final candidate rather quickly tomorrow. And we will keep the community informed throughout the process. You, as a community, can probably look to have a finalist from us within the next 24 to 36 hours. So I wanted to be clear. Are there any other inquiries or updates? I knew Mr. Manero was going to have it. No, just go ahead, Ms. Manero.
No, it's good. I do want to ask regarding the bullying at sports events. This is a very numerous incident that happens. And so I don't know who can give us an update, and it doesn't have to be now, but maybe through committee, maybe a student achievement if the chair chooses. But I am curious to know, what does the State Athletic Association, what is the policy on the behavior of the spectators? And because we've been victimized, many of our schools have been victimized of just racist comments, bullying, and not only during the game, after the game. And I understand that, not everybody knows the potential of our kids, or they're just judging by what they hear on the news and media about our city, but they're not the ones that have to pay the price. And so bullying being such a big issue, I think we need to start looking at this on a much deeper level. So I don't know if the Chair of Student Achievement would like to add this to our list of our priorities.
The bullying piece is part of our whole
But specifically
child effort.
to the sports
Athletic.
events and athletic events, because it's not the first time.
If the board is interested, I think, and I'll be tagging along also on what your inquiry is about, from a standpoint of, we've, just a few years ago, and then again, we've heard of the racial slurs. There's a person that taught in the suburbs for 36 years, and when indeed CPS was able to start, again, competing out there, it is a very difficult situation. And I know we've had great updates regarding police protection, police profile at especially our home games. But I am very concerned about the away games for any of our children for whatever reason. And I don't know, there has to be some kind of internal explanation as to what is the protection that we provide. How do we follow up after something like this has happened to make sure that the school that is hosting or whatever, or is being is victimizing our children and our competitors. We need to have a better understanding from the athletic department, from the teaching corps that needs to attend the games, Part of it is an absence, if you will. There's more parents or there's more teachers on the other side than for ours. So do we arrange transportation for our parents to get to some of the games to see their kids? Do we have enough teachers attending and sitting in the stands and doing what they need to do to enforce that? So I think as in the whole child piece, and as we expand our athletic efforts and our competitions throughout, whether it's drones or football or whatever, we're out there. But our kids are being out there, and they need to have the protection that only grown-ups can afford them, because they should not have to endure any of this while they're wearing the CPS uniform or competing for CPS and representing all of us.
Yeah, I wanted to say, as one that attend most of your sporting events, it's not a common problem within our own district. Our kids are very respectful. Before every athletic event, there is a sportsmanship decree and declaration of code of conduct that's read. I think it's when we travel outside the district, it's not so much as it is at tournament events as it is at outside events. You got Withrow, that's part of a league where it's predominantly mainstream. You have Walnut, that's part of a league that's predominantly mainstream, and that's where it occurs. And so until the message is reinforced on that level, that it won't be tolerated, because every athletic director, principal that hosts a game has a responsibility to protect not just the physical safety and well-being of our kids, but to protect the emotional and mental well-being of our kids, and that's where it starts at. So I think we do a good job within our district. We just need to make sure, because if it's happening on the major league level, CPS sports is a microcosm of society. Kids mimic what they see and hear if it's not corrected, because racism is learned behavior and promoted out of fear, primarily ignorance. And I think until we continue to do what we do, we can continue to be a model in this area. Thank you.
Ms. Jones. Yes, and I agree with what's been said already, but I also want to put out there that we've experienced this young man. It took a lot of courage for this young man to come forward and talk about it. When we visited Aiken, those young people did their projects on bullying. Some of the answers, and I'm not here to say, you know, we have all the answers, but bullying is not a new phenomenon. Kids are being bullied for years, years, decades.
I was bullied.
Right. But one of the things we don't want to forget is that the young, if we can help our young people just better understand that as a dynamic and really start to use their voice and their actions and make decisions and to help drive policy, I think you'll find that you'll get a lot of young people who are willing to participate. They need someone to help motivate them. So in student achievement, it's a content area that we need to study, and we need to come up with some recommendations, but also in policy committee, we're talking about how do students come and direct policy so that they can be action-oriented. And you know, once you get them involved, they become empowered to do more. So I just wanted to add that.
One of the things I keep preaching is there needs to be a student-athlete-led leadership council so that they can come in and voice their experience to those that may not know. So we need to work in conjunction. And I did see it under the student achievement, one of your goals or one of your desires to make sure we move that forward. So continue to do that, please.
Yes, go ahead. You want to go?
You can finish your thought.
Yeah,
and then I'll
I wanted to add to that athletics is one aspect of it. There are kids who don't play sports who are getting bullied. I think that policy committee is involved with our board fellow and board member Hoffman is involved in that, in really looking at and speaking to the student groups that exist in the district. And so they've been going around with Pat Hill Miller helping to process and see and talk to the students about these things as they are important to them as well. So,
Ms. Hoffman.
Yes, I think, you know, it's very important to talk about what's happening at athletic events, but what we heard from Ms. Cook and David wasn't just outside of the district, but this is happening in our schools. And I think I saw many of us getting teary teary-eyed listening to them speak, because many of us have kids in the school or grandkids in these schools or kids who just graduated or kids we love in these schools. And it's not just about our own kids. We all talk about our kids. When we talk about our kids, we're talking about every one of the 36,000 plus kids in our school is our kid. And so to know that one of them is experiencing this and speaking for many kids, that's on us, that's on the adults. And to hear that the adult response was not what we believe is acceptable, that is not okay. You know, we passed an equity policy last year, and those aren't just words, those were our values and our beliefs. We wrote in that policy that our kids and our staff members bring their unique selves into our schools and that we're better for it. Yes. And we have to live those words. And so it's important to figure out what's going on at athletic events, but the kids are spending their days in our buildings, and we have to figure out what's going on with the culture that's allowing that to happen. Yeah. And so I think when we move into assignments, this has to be brought back to us. I know Dr. Lofton was going to talk about this particular issue with this family, but we need to know more about what happened and what is happening and what more we can be doing.
Yeah, I think we're in assignments now, so let's make it formal. I think, Mr. Manera, you were making an assignment to student achievement?
Yeah, I think it's
That's where it goes.
clear. Yeah.
But I think your specific request had to do with what is the policy for spectators?
Yes, we are working on bullying, but I want to bring to the table what is happening, like to Mr. Nelm's points, what is happening when our teams who prepare, they spend all this time to prepare, and then they go outside of our district, which, yes, we have internal systems that we're still working on, but we need to be an advocate and a voice, which is what's missing. And so I don't know where that's going to end up, but the specific assignment would be that it's added to the bullying component of student achievement, the athletic out-of-district behavior that we're seeing.
Yeah, that would be great. And then two, I don't know if we can take that a step further and maybe find out how many incidents there have been, or, just a starting place so that we have something measurable to move past. As a person who has lived that with their student during their high school time, it is very, very real when we leave the district. And if we think about how our schools are now moving up a division, so Walnut's athletics are moving up a division, and so that doesn't mean that the pressure gets less. In fact, it means it probably heightens. And it is so real, I'll tell you. And so, I mean, haven't even witnessed adults who are just standing there, the professionals who are just standing there and allowing that to happen. And so then you have to go home and really try to shore up your child how to get through it. And that's essentially what we heard from the mom and son who were standing here today. So I think that's one part of it. I know that Ms. Jones in policy is also doing some significant work related to student voice. So we'll look forward to hearing back from both committees relatively soon.
And we had one other part to that assignment too, I think, is the, because we have the student voice going in policy and the bullying part, but I do think this is also part of the administration is putting together their equity plan. Yeah. And I think as part of that, we need to figure out, as part of that plan, what are we doing to make sure the adults, the teachers, the IAs, the principals in our buildings understand what we mean.
And the coaches.
The coaches, every adult that interacts with our children understands what we mean by every child and valuing every child's uniqueness. And so what is that part of the plan looking like?
So there is a written document, because I've read it, that talks about the adults and people being kicked out of games and things, Mr. Nail.
It has to be enforced. But I think we've reached a point now where the pre-qualification of our coaches and athletic directors now has to include a different level of current training around this specific issue and signs to look out for, and that everybody have to sign off, because we can institute a zero tolerance policy, but it has to be enforced. And most adults, let me say this again, most adults don't even have the courage to address it on the spot because we've become fearful of our own children.
Ms. Bates.
Yes, and I agree with everything that's been said, but I'd like us to even be more proactive. Part of the message that our guest tonight spoke to was suicide. And that's what, what occurs when students are taken to that point. And that, that the adults who are charged with keeping our children safe should be able to recognize the signs of potential suicide risk. And that should be part of our consideration as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I would add that to part of the assignment to student achievement.
I'm adding a second piece to that. Many of us are aware of the curriculum, which is called Youth Mental Health First Aid, which addresses the signs and symptoms of suicide. It has been well received in the Hamilton County area, and there has been programs within our district, very targeted. All of those schools have responded that they felt like it was an excellent opportunity because it gives you basic like mental health 101. So that might be something I would encourage, maybe just take a look and review, and I'd be happy to
If you get it
point
to us,
you
I
in the
think that'd
right
be great.
direction with that.
Yes.
We would
thank you.
greatly appreciate that. In fact, this week we were sending home a letter, which I'd like to send to you for your review, to parents, that really talks about recent suicides, the Netflix series.
Yes.
13.
Which
Yes.
is very concerning, and does list resources for parents because we're just extremely concerned. So I'll ask Janet if she'll send it to the board members, and
Okay.
if there's any other resources that you could add to the
Tons,
letter,
yes.
we would really appreciate it.
Thank you. I think this is a well-needed conversation. I appreciate it. I appreciate you bringing it up, Mr. Manera. Are there any other assignments? Having no other business, we're adjourned.
The person who did first aid, I actually gave them your name. Student achievement did sign.